The bridge of the Eternal Conqueror hummed with a centuries-old rhythm of conquest. Massive holographic displays flickered with star charts, documenting the ship's unbroken history of victory. Captain Vornak stood motionless, his scaled appendages clasped behind his back, 6 eyes scanning the panoramic view of deep space. Each of those eyes carried memories of 1,000 worlds broken beneath the ship's overwhelming might. That XR had long ago transcended the concept of military campaign. This was pure biological imperative. Conquest was not just a strategy, it was their entire existence. The ship itself was a marvel of adaptive engineering. Kilometers long, its hull was composed of a living metallic compound that could reconfigure itself during battle. Weapon systems emerged and retracted like the breathing of a predatory organism. Quantum computing networks ran through its structure like neural pathways, processing battle scenarios faster than most species could comprehend a single tactical moment. Senior Tactician Relmix approach, her movements precise and calculated. Scanning reports from the approaching system show minimal technological development, she reported, her translation device converting her native clicks and hisses into standard galactic communication protocols. Vornak's primary eyes narrowed. He had heard such reports countless times before. Each new world was another entry in the grand ledger of Tarlath expansion. Civilizations rose, civilizations fell, but the Eternal Conqueror remained constant, an unstoppable force of galactic engineering and biological determination. Preliminary analysis suggests a human colony, Relmix continued. Early-stage interstellar settlement. Limited defensive capabilities. Projected conquest time. Approximately 3 standard planetary rotations. A ripple of anticipation moved through the bridge crew. The XR had encountered humans before, a species categorized as developing in their extensive xenological archives. Chaotic, unpredictable, technologically inconsistent. They were curious creatures, but ultimately inconsequential in the grand scheme of galactic dominance. The ship's living hull began to pulse with preparation. Weapon systems calibrated themselves. Defensive networks ran diagnostic sequences that would appear incomprehensible to lesser technological civilizations. Every system was a symphony of precision, every mechanism a testament to millions of years of evolutionary warfare. Vornak remembered the early days of the Tarlath expansion. Millennia ago, they had been a species struggling on a harsh volcanic world. Survival meant constant adaptation, constant conquest. What began as a planetary struggle became a galactic imperative. The Eternal Conqueror was the pinnacle of that journey, a ship that had not known defeat in over 3 centuries of continuous expansion. Historical records showed multiple approaches to planetary subjugation. Some worlds surrendered at the mere sight of the massive vessel. Others fought with primitive desperation, their resistance crushed within solar cycles. That XR had perfected the art of conquest to a level that transcended mere military strategy. Prepare standard colonization protocols, Vornak commanded. His voice carried the weight of centuries of unbroken victory. Begin preliminary scanning sequences. I want a complete biological and technological profile of the target world within the next solar rotation. Relmix began issuing rapid-fire commands. Scanning beams stretched out from the ship's massive arrays, probing the distant planet with technologies that could map entire ecosystems in moments. Quantum entanglement communication networks began collecting initial data, preparing for the inevitable process of planetary integration. None of them, not Vornak, not Relmix, not a single member of the bridge crew, could have predicted the storm that was about to break against their seemingly invincible vessel. The Eternal Conqueror had written its own legend across the galaxy, one conquered world at a time. And now, it approached what seemed to be just another insignificant human colony. But legends, sometimes, are meant to be shattered. The Kepler 452 bits colony wasn't a typical settlement. Its origins traced back to a moment of collective desperation and unbreakable human spirit. 5 years earlier, A group of rejected colonists had pooled their last resources, purchasing an aging interstellar transport with nothing but determination and a collective dream. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the colony's lead scientist, stood in the Central Command Center, a repurposed mining facility that now served as the settlement's heart. Her fingers danced across holographic displays, coordinating the initial defense preparations. Around her, a diverse group of specialists worked with an intensity that belied their seemingly modest origins. To the traditional colonial boards, they had been outcasts. Marcus Chen, a brilliant engineer who had been denied multiple research grants, worked alongside Sarah Okonkwo, a former military strategist who had been discharged for unconventional thinking. The colony was a testament to those who refused to accept limitations. Incoming long-range scan detection called out Raj Patel, the communication specialist. His voice was calm, almost matter-of-fact. Looks like a massive vessel. Definitely not standard exploration traffic. The bar where Elena had made her earlier proclamation now served a different purpose. Tables were covered with technical schematics. Mining equipment lay disassembled and being rapidly reconfigured. What had once been a place of relaxation was now a nerve center of resistance. "We've been preparing for this moment our entire lives," Elena said, her voice carrying across the room. Each person understood the unspoken truth. They were not just defending a colony. They were proving something fundamental about human potential. The settlement's history was etched into every structure. Prefabricated habitation units stood next to hand-constructed extensions. Hydroponics gardens grew alongside makeshift defensive positions. Every piece of equipment told a story of adaptation, of turning limitations into opportunities. Marcus Chen approached the main display, his fingers already modifying the colony's existing systems. "Those mining lasers we use for resource extraction," he said, a dangerous glint in his eye. "They're about to become something else entirely." Sarah Okonkwo was coordinating the underground defense network. Tunnels originally designed for mineral exploration were being transformed into a complex defensive infrastructure. Communication lines were being rerouted, backup systems prepared, every potential vulnerability considered and addressed. The colony's children were not spectators. Teenagers who had grown up learning both technical skills and survival techniques began assisting in various capacities. A group worked on creating communication relays, using salvaged equipment to create a network that could survive potential disruptions. "We're not just a colony," Elena said, more to herself than to anyone else. "We're a statement about human potential." Outside, the landscape of Kepler 452 bits told its own story. Harsh terrain that would have defeated lesser settlements had been transformed. Terraforming efforts mixed with adaptive engineering created pockets of livability in what was otherwise a challenging environment. Raj's voice cut through the preparation. "Vessel is definitely approaching. Quantum communication signatures are unlike anything in our database. This is going to be different." The colony moved with a synchronized precision that would have surprised any external observer. This wasn't a panicked response. This was a calculated, collective effort of a group that had already survived against impossible odds. Elena looked at the gathering storm on the horizon. The eternal Conqueror was coming, but they would be ready. Not just ready, prepared to redefine the very concept of survival. The first energy weapon discharge illuminated the sky like a murderous sunrise, but Kepler 452 bits was not a world of victims. It was a world of creators, survivors, and unexpected warriors. In the agricultural sector, hydroponics specialist Maria Gonzalez transformed her precision farming equipment into a network of early warning systems. Sensors designed to monitor crop health now tracked incoming energy signatures with terrifying accuracy. Irrigation pumps became pressurized cooling systems for rapidly improvised defensive equipment. "We're more than just a colony," Maria muttered, recalibrating a massive water pump that now hummed with an entirely different purpose. "We're a living, breathing organism of resistance." Beneath the surface, a labyrinth of mining tunnels came alive. Former tunnel engineers, led by Jack Henderson, a man who had spent more time underground than above, began transforming their knowledge into a defensive masterpiece. Each tunnel became a potential ambush point, each cavern a potential refuge. The children of the colony were not pushed aside. They were integrated. 12-year-old Zara Williams worked alongside the communication team, her young mind proving more adaptable than the most sophisticated alien tracking systems. She helped create a communication network that could survive multiple point failures, using techniques she had learned from colony survival training. In the makeshift workshop that had once been a mining equipment repair center, Marcus Chen was performing miracles of engineering. A drilling laser lay dismantled, its components being rapidly reconfigured. Energy dispersal patterns, he explained to Sarah Okonkwo, can be redirected. We're not just defending. We're turning their own technology against them. The colony's medical center transformed into a tactical coordination hub. Dr. Elena Rodriguez moved between holographic displays and communication systems, her medical training now applied to the organism of collective defense. Each person was both a potential warrior and a critical support system. Incoming energy signatures detected. Raj Patel called out, his voice steady. Multiple approach vectors. They're not just attacking. They're testing our defenses. The first wave of alien reconnaissance drones met an unexpected reception. What should have been simple scanning missions became traps of incredible complexity. Electromagnetic pulses, carefully crafted from mining equipment and communication arrays, created interference patterns that confused and destroyed the advanced technology. Jack Henderson's underground team had prepared something special. Thermal imaging systems, originally designed to track mineral deposits, now tracked the approach of alien ground units. Each tunnel became a potential killing zone, not through violence, but through intelligent misdirection. They expect a traditional defense, Sarah Okonkwo explained, reviewing tactical projections. We're going to give them anything but traditional. The agricultural zones became defensive positions. Crop irrigation systems could rapidly cool overheating equipment. Atmospheric processors, designed to slowly transform the planet's environment, now created localized interference fields that disrupted alien scanning technologies. Zara Williams discovered something extraordinary in the communication systems. By introducing slight, almost imperceptible variations in transmission frequencies, she created a communication network that was nearly impossible to intercept or decode. Her young mind saw patterns that sophisticated alien systems missed. As the first serious assault began, Kepler 452 bits revealed itself not as a colony, but as a living, breathing defensive organism. Every system was connected. Every person was a critical component. The eternal Conqueror was about to learn that technology meant nothing against true human adaptability. This was not just a battle. This was a statement about survival, about human potential, about turning the impossible into a mere inconvenience. The communication center of Kepler 452 bits looked nothing like a traditional military installation. Walls covered with salvaged displays, repurposed mining computers, and communication arrays created a technological mosaic that defied conventional understanding. Raj Patel stood at the center, his fingers moving with a musician's precision across multiple interfaces. We're not just listening, Raj explained to Elena Rodriguez. We're learning their entire communication structure in real time. The alien communication frequencies were a complex symphony of quantum encrypted signals. To most species, they would appear as incomprehensible noise. But humans had always excelled at finding patterns where others saw chaos. Zara Williams sat beside Raj, her young mind processing information at a speed that would make most computer systems look sluggish. She had developed an algorithm that could identify communication patterns almost instantaneously. What the XRLath considered an unbreakable encryption became a puzzle waiting to be solved. Marcus Chen worked on the hardware side of the operation. Communication arrays originally designed for long-range mineral surveys were being modified to intercept and analyze alien signals. It's like learning a new language, he muttered, but the grammar is technological. The first breakthrough came unexpectedly. A slight variation in signal modulation revealed entire layers of alien communication protocols. What the XRLAF believed was an impenetrable communication network began to show its vulnerabilities. Sarah Okonkwo reviewed the initial findings. Her military background gave her a strategic perspective that complemented the technical brilliance around her. "They're predictable," she said, tracing communication patterns on a holographic display. "Every advanced civilization develops communication blind spots. We're going to exploit every single one." In the underground tunnels, Jack Henderson's team was creating a communication network that could survive multiple point failures. Quantum entanglement principles, combined with creative signal routing, meant that even if parts of the network were destroyed, communication would continue. "Look at this," Zora said, pointing to a complex pattern on one of the displays. "Their communication has a rhythm, almost like a heartbeat." Raj nodded. "Exactly. And every heartbeat has a potential weakness." The colony's approach was fundamentally different from traditional military defense. They weren't just trying to block or destroy alien communications. They were learning, adapting, turning the enemy's most sophisticated technology into a tool of their own survival. Marcus developed a breakthrough signal injection technique. By introducing carefully crafted signal variations, they could create confusion in the alien communication networks. It was less about destruction and more about controlled disruption. "Imagine," Marcus explained, "we're not just intercepting. We're having a conversation they don't even realize is happening." The quantum communication arrays began to reveal deeper secrets. Fragments of tactical information, strategic planning, even personal communications between alien crew members began to emerge. That XRLAF had never considered the possibility that their advanced technology could be so thoroughly compromised. Sarah Okonkwo saw the broader strategic implications. "This isn't just about defense," she said. "This is about understanding our enemy completely." Zora discovered something extraordinary. By analyzing communication patterns, she could predict alien tactical movements with increasing accuracy. What seemed like chaos to the XRLAF was becoming a readable language to the humans of Kepler 452 bits. As the Eternal Conqueror continued its approach, its communication networks were being slowly, meticulously unraveled. The most advanced communication system in the galaxy was about to meet its most unexpected challenge. Humanity had always been good at turning the impossible into the inevitable. The workshop resembled a mad scientist's dream crossed with an industrial nightmare. Mining lasers hung dismantled alongside complex cooling systems. Electromagnetic generators cannibalized from communication arrays lay partially reconstructed on workbenches. This was where humanity's true weapon was being forged, pure, unbridled innovation. Marcus Chen stood at the center of controlled chaos, his hands moving with surgical precision. A massive mining laser, originally designed to cut through the planet's most challenging rock formations, now hummed with a different potential. Industrial equipment, he explained to Sarah Okonkwo, is built to handle extreme conditions. That makes it perfect for something entirely unexpected. Nearby, Alina Rodriguez examined the thermal readings. What had once been a precision agricultural cooling system was being transformed into a heat sink capable of managing enormous energy outputs. The colony's survival had always depended on adaptive thinking. This was simply taking that principle to its most extreme conclusion. Jack Henderson brought in a collection of drilling charges from the underground mining operations. These were designed to create controlled explosions for mineral extraction, he said, a dangerous glint in his eye. "I think we can find a more interesting application." The colony's children were not spectators. In a separate section of the workshop, a group led by Zara Williams worked on precision targeting systems. Using computational skills learned from survival training, they developed algorithms that could predict and counter alien defensive technologies. "It's not about raw power," Zorat explained, her fingers dancing across a holographic interface. "It's about finding the exact point of maximum effectiveness." Maria Gonzalez contributed from the agricultural sector. Precision irrigation systems became the basis for coolant distribution networks. Atmospheric processors designed to slowly transform the planet's environment now created localized interference fields that could disrupt alien scanning technologies. Raj Patel's communication expertise played a crucial role. By analyzing the intercepted alien communication frequencies, he helped the team identify potential technological vulnerabilities. Each piece of equipment was being transformed into something that XRLAF could never anticipate. They expect traditional weapons, Sarah Okonkwo remarked, reviewing the developing arsenal. We're going to give them something entirely different. A massive drilling laser took shape, no longer a tool for extracting minerals, but a precision energy weapon that could target specific technological systems. The cooling mechanisms developed for hydroponic environments now managed heat dissipation with unprecedented efficiency. Marcus revealed his most ambitious project, a system that could convert the planet's natural electromagnetic field into a defensive weapon. We're not just defending, he explained. We're turning the entire planet into a living, breathing defensive organism. The workshop became a symphony of innovation. Each piece of equipment told a story of human adaptability. Mining tools became precision instruments. Communication arrays transformed into targeting systems. Agricultural equipment became critical components of a planet-wide defense network. Elena Rodriguez saw the broader picture. This isn't just about creating weapons, she told the team. This is about redefining the entire concept of technological warfare. As the Eternal Conqueror continued its approach, it remained blissfully unaware of the storm preparing to meet it. The colony had turned every limitation into an opportunity. Every piece of equipment was a potential weapon. Every system was a potential defense. Humanity had always been good at turning the impossible into the inevitable. The weapons were ready. The planet was prepared. The real battle was about to begin. The first real engagement began not with a thunderous explosion, but with a series of subtle disruptions that would reshape the understanding of warfare across the galaxy. On the bridge of the Eternal Conqueror, Captain Vornak experienced something unprecedented in 3 centuries of conquest. Uncertainty. The quantum communication networks that had been the ship's most reliable system began to fragment in ways that defied logical explanation. Report, Vornak demanded, his multiple eyes scanning the rapidly changing holographic displays. Tactical Officer Ralmix struggled to maintain composure. Communication networks are experiencing systematic interference. Our scanning systems are detecting multiple point failures across our defensive grid. What the XRLAF didn't understand was the fundamental nature of human adaptation. Each disruption was a carefully orchestrated response, a dance of technological warfare that transformed defense into an art form. Underground, Jack Henderson's team had transformed the planet's geological structure into a living defensive network. Seismic sensors originally designed for mineral exploration now tracked every movement of the alien vessel with terrifying precision. Electromagnetic fields were manipulated in ways that created localized interference patterns. Elena Rodriguez coordinated from the Central Command Center, her medical training providing an unexpected perspective on systemic defense. We're not fighting a traditional battle, she explained to the team. We're treating this like a complex biological system. Every disruption is an opportunity. Zara Williams discovered something extraordinary in the communication interception. By introducing microscopic variations in signal frequencies, they created a communication network that was almost impossible to track or interrupt. Her young mind saw patterns that the most sophisticated alien tracking systems missed. Marcus Chen's weapon systems came alive in ways that XRLAF could never have anticipated. Mining lasers fired not as destructive weapons, but as precision instruments designed to create specific electromagnetic disturbances. Each shot was a carefully calculated intervention, designed to maximize confusion and minimize direct confrontation. The Eternal Conqueror began to experience systemic failures that defied traditional understanding. Shield systems that had protected the vessel through 1,000 conquests began to show unexpected vulnerabilities. Communication networks fragmented. Defensive systems became increasingly unreliable. "They're not attacking us," Sarah Okonkwo observed, analyzing the tactical displays. "They're dissolving our ability to function." Vornak realized something fundamental was changing. This was not a traditional battle. The humans were not attempting to destroy the eternal Conqueror. They were systematically dismantling its ability to function, piece by piece, system by system. Raj Patel's communication team intercepted fragments of internal Xarlath communications. The alien crew was experiencing something they had never encountered: genuine, profound uncertainty. Their entire military doctrine was based on overwhelming technological superiority. But superiority meant nothing against true adaptive intelligence. The planet itself seemed to come alive. Agricultural systems created localized atmospheric disturbances. Mining equipment generated electromagnetic pulses. Communication arrays became weapons of precision disruption. Maria Gonzalez's agricultural innovations played a crucial role. Atmospheric processors created interference fields that disrupted alien scanning technologies. Precision irrigation systems became complex cooling networks that managed heat and energy in ways the aliens could not comprehend. As the engagement continued, the Eternal Conqueror experienced something it had never known in 3 centuries of conquest: the possibility of defeat. Humanity had transformed limitation into opportunity. Every perceived weakness became a potential strength. The most advanced warship in the galaxy was being systematically dismantled not through raw destructive power, but through pure, unbridled human creativity. The moment of transformation had begun, and nothing would ever be the same again. The Eternal Conqueror did not fall. It was systematically, methodically taken apart. Boarding teams led by Sarah Okonkwo moved through the massive vessel with a precision that would have been impossible for any other species. Each system they encountered told a story of technological arrogance, of a civilization that had forgotten the most critical rule of survival: adaptation. Elena Rodriguez approached the medical systems first. What the Xarlath considered advanced biological management was revealed to be surprisingly rigid, compartmentalized, inflexible. Each medical subsystem was a testament to a species that had stopped evolving, that had become convinced of its own perfection. "Look at this," she said to Marcus Chen, pointing out the intricate but ultimately limited medical technologies. "They've optimized themselves into a corner." Marcus's engineering expertise revealed even more profound insights. The ship's technological systems were a complex network of interconnected modules, each designed with such precise specifications that they had become their own limitation. Where human technology embraced adaptability, the Xarlath systems demanded absolute conformity. Zara Williams discovered something extraordinary in the ship's data archives. By carefully reconstructing fragmented communication logs, she began to piece together the entire history of the Eternal Conqueror. 1,000 worlds conquered, countless civilizations erased, but never challenged. Jack Henderson's team worked on dismantling the vessel's propulsion systems. What they found was both impressive and deeply flawed. Technological marvel met fundamental weakness. Each system was a perfect machine, until it encountered something it could not predict. Raj Patel's communication specialists began decoding the ship's entire communication network. They were not just collecting information. They were understanding an entire civilization's approach to warfare, to existence. The wreck became a living museum of alien technological development. Each system told a story of a civilization that had reached a technological pinnacle and then stopped growing. Perfection had become their prison. Maria Gonzalez applied her agricultural systems analysis to the ship's life support technologies. "They've created the most efficient systems imaginable," she explained. "But efficiency is not the same as adaptability." Sarah Okonkwo saw the broader strategic implications. "This ship represents more than a technological achievement," she told the team. "It's a monument to the dangers of believing you've reached the pinnacle of development." Fragments of alien personal logs were recovered. They revealed a civilization that had become so certain of its superiority that the concept of genuine challenge had become almost incomprehensible. Each log entry was a window into a mindset of absolute confidence. The boarding teams worked systematically. They were not destroying. They were learning. Every piece of technology was carefully documented, every system analyzed. The Eternal Conqueror was being transformed from a weapon of conquest into the most comprehensive learning opportunity in galactic history. As systems were carefully disconnected and analyzed, something profound became clear. The ship was not just a technological marvel. It was a cautionary tale about the dangers of believing in absolute superiority. Humanity had not just defeated a warship. They had challenged an entire philosophical approach to existence. The wreck of the Eternal Conqueror would become more than a battlefield. It would become a beacon of possibility. The news spread faster than light itself. A small human colony had defeated the most feared vessel in galactic history, not through overwhelming force, but through pure, unbridled human creativity. Communication networks across multiple star systems began to buzz with the impossible story. On the Galactic Council chambers, representatives from 1,000 worlds watched the recovered data from the Eternal Conqueror systems. What they saw challenged everything they understood about warfare, about survival, about the very nature of technological advancement. Elena Rodriguez stood before the holographic assembly, her presentation a masterpiece of scientific clarity. Each slide revealed another layer of how the Kepler 452 bits colony had systematically dismantled the most advanced warship in existence, not through brute force, but through adaptive intelligence. We didn't just defend ourselves, she explained to the stunned representatives. We demonstrated a fundamental truth about survival. Adaptability is the most powerful weapon in the universe. Marcus Chen's technical analysis became required study in military academies across multiple civilizations. His breakdown of how mining equipment, communication arrays, and agricultural technologies were transformed into defensive systems rewrote entire strategic doctrines. The recovered Eternal Conqueror became more than a wreck. It became a university, a research center, a monument to human potential. Scientists from dozens of civilizations came to study every centimeter of the massive vessel. Zara Williams, now recognized as the youngest strategic genius in human history, continued to unravel the ship's complexities. Her work would form the basis of new communication and adaptive technology that would reshape galactic understanding. Sarah Okonkwo found herself at the center of a new diplomatic reality. Civilizations that had long been subjugated by the Xarlath began to see humanity as something entirely different, not as conquerors, but as liberators of potential. Raj Patel's communication breakthroughs opened diplomatic channels with species that had been isolated for millennia. The technology developed during the defense of Kepler 452 bits became a bridge between civilizations. The Xarlath Imperium fractured. The myth of their invincibility had been shattered. Subjugated worlds began to rise, inspired by the story of a small human colony that had done the impossible. Jack Henderson's underground defense strategies became a new field of study. Military academies across the galaxy began to teach the Kepler doctrine of adaptive defense and systemic thinking. Maria Gonzalez's work on transforming agricultural and life support systems into defensive technologies sparked a revolution in how civilizations approached resource management and survival. The colony itself became a symbol. Kepler 452 bits was no longer just a settlement on the edge of explored space. It was a beacon of hope, a demonstration of what was possible when limitation was viewed as an opportunity. We are not defined by our technology, Elena Rodriguez would later write in a treatise that would be studied for generations. We are defined by our ability to see beyond what exists, to imagine what could be. The wreck of the Eternal Conqueror orbited Kepler 452 bits like a silent monument. Not a symbol of destruction, but a testament to human potential. Each system told a story of transformation, of a species that refused to accept the limitations others would impose. Humanity had not just survived. They had redefined the very concept of survival, and the galaxy would never be the same again.